Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a short introduction to SDF and SDF Pro. SDF, or Subdeformer, is a tool which is based on the SCON 3D engine and has been developed in Switzerland by the Showreel design team, which is an international development team. You find SDF on both the Android and iOS platform. This tutorial also shows premium features that are available through in-app purchase, such as mesh coloring, color select, advanced mirror, and Pro Export. The Pro Export allows you to export the objects not only in the STL format. This is for stereo lithography. It's very common in 3D printing. It also comes in the formats you can also export like OBJ object, 3ds, PLY, and DAE. So nevertheless, the STL format is very common these days, thanks to it being the standard in 3D printing, the main application for SDF actually. I think that SDF is a highly misunderstood tool as far as I have learned from user tutorials in the internet, and this is owed to the abstract approach of this tool. So this introduction should give you a deeper insight into the matter and also the way on how to use SDF more properly. The main use of SDF is called soft edge modeling, which is aimed for designers. Designers which, for example, do ergonomic forms. And when it comes to soft edges, then mostly we have the problem that you have very sharp edges if you do extrusion of a pass and then you extrude that object, or you use two different passes to do interpolated object. For example, you do that in CAD programs like 3D Studio and so on. So with SDF you always work with a volume model, and you have volume objects which automatically generate smooth edges. And let's just have a look on how that works. I'll give you a short example. Before we start looking at how the tools work, so I'll give you some demos, objects that I have created. We see here an overview already. Let's start with the automotive design sample. Here we are in the editor of SDF. We are running it currently on a Samsung Galaxy tablet, a Note Pro, which is a very nice tool device. Here we have the orientation layers, which help you in which direction the model is pointing, which is important later if you use extrude, that you are actually tapping the right face and then that the extrude command goes into the right direction. So for example, if I go to shape, extrude, I want to extrude it, it goes up, and now I want to move it, transform, move, I want to move this face. So we see that it's pointing on the blue layer, so I go for blue, which is Z, and then it's being scaled here on the Z-axis, up and down. Okay, so just to give you an idea where this colored faces, what's the function of the colored faces is actually. And let's go undo and go back to the model itself. Undo. So the device is a bit slow right now because of running the screen recorder. So go to settings and tell him don't show this axis anymore. And now we can see the object. So out of the volume you design soft and smooth forms pretty quickly. This is one of the examples. Let's just disable the colors. This all started with one basic object. Let's go back. Have a look on a more complex one. It's a robot. Some loading time. So the robot has been designed with out of different objects, and that gives him much more complexity than you usually see in SDF designs. Yeah. So here we can enable colors, show colors. So we see that it's a pretty decent design. That has been completely done on a mobile device. All right, let's go out here. So these models give you a short impression of what can be done with SDF. For example, here we have some jewelry. Yeah, and it's actually a real good application to do this, especially in combination with a 3D printer. Some furniture. This is a TV share. So also here with some interesting details. This object has been designed in SDF in less than 1 hour. And it has a very high precision. For the folks that are using SDF already, I've seen that many people don't know how to export the objects and what to be done on the mobile device with it. So I use a tool called HD Model Viewer Pro. I'm opening it right now, and here in HD Model Viewer Pro, I'm opening the objects that have been created in SDF. Sorry, it's just importing something, yeah. And you see it offers much more speed because it's already working with exported vertex. This is a simple architectural concept study done with SDF. And let's see if we find our TV share here. That's a little bit further down. Here it is. It takes the 3DS version. And we can see full screen has some decent details here. And in this viewer, you can set the position of the light source. So if you want to find more contrast or something like that, you can increase and lower light. It's really the perfect choice for quick visualization. So you go on full screen, and you might take screenshots to have still images of your designs for presentation purpose. But actually, this is already very good to show your designs to your audience, as it's very quick and a very clean development. I'm a great fan of this app, and I also purchased the Pro version. Okay, let's go back to SDF. And let's go out here and start with a new object. So zoom all. Here, this is the main object which you normally start. It's a kind of a ball, and if you follow the ball on the lower left corner, you see the blue top there, the red front. That gives you an orientation on how the object is aligned. And here you can use the show X feature and to intensify visibility, especially if you're working with a more complex object. This here is very helpful to understand the cron orientation of the object and in what direction the cron function will work. Okay, let's do a small ball pen to just get an idea on how to use it. We use the extrude feature. So I tap to select one of the faces here, and I use extrude. Oh, sorry, that's the wrong one. That's intrude. Extrude. Yeah. And you see, I extended it. It looks like more like a pill. So doesn't matter. Just give it some details. Now, to give it a little bit of a shape, I get a bit longer. Oh, again, tap the longer. That's because of the screen recorder slowing down the machine a bit. All right. So here we have a simple object which we will now convert into a ball pen. So I use transform, scale, all. I'm scaling down the top of the ball pen. I use shape, subdivide, to put another instance in here, which is the tip of the ball pen. So I increase a little bit, go back scale. I want to make it more open here. Yes, like this. That's fantastic. So now use the command shape subdivide to create another instance, intrude, subdivide, and extrude, extrude. So now we have the ball pen's mine looking out. And I'm increasing the selection with the increase feature. On the right, you see that. Actually, I can use the stylus, and you can see that this is the increase feature here. So I go to transform, scale, all, makes it a little bit bigger. I'm keeping I'm touching outside the object and keep it a little bit, and then deselects. Then I select only the front, and I go to scale all and make it a bit yeah. So smaller, that gives it the right approach. You see that here, and actually we want to have it a little bit longer, so I go to move, and I move that a bit out. Like this. Yeah. So a little bit too much. Okay, I keep it like this for the moment. So now I select the top of the ball pen, go some instances further. That looks good. Or let's do the following. Let's make a ring here. So what I'm using here is this strip command. You select 1, 2 faces. This second face shows in what direction the ring select has to go. I show you that on the long side, and you understand it easier. So if I select this both, it means that I want to go in this direction, which is actually X axis. And then I say strip, and it goes all around. Okay, so I deselect that. I want to do that here on the middle, and I say strip, and we see it's completely selected here. I go to the command Z shape subdivide, so I have this kind of a ring here. And I give him another subdivide to give him a little bit more of complexity. Yeah. So what is the advantage here? So the advantage is I have given it more details, and now I go a little bit further like this, and I'm using the transform scale all command to scale it a bit up. So you see that this classical thing is here, and then I use the move command and move that a bit up. So like this. Okay. And also this is a little bit too short. I just select two of these instances and move it up a bit. Also here, so you see the proportions are all right. So, all right, so then we use this strip command again, and we go to shape subdivide. And what you can see here, it keeps the selection. So if it creates a new instance, it keeps the selection going. So I do not need to always select everything new, so I can continue with subdivide, 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 subdivide. So I create some decent rings here. And let's just select them and use the command for extrusion. So what we see here is a little bit too big. So we go transform scale all, and we scale it a bit smaller. Okay. So, and we do the same here again. We say shape extrude. Then we go to the transform scale command, or make that smaller. Let's give it just two rings for the moment, just to give you an idea. All right, good. So here at the top, we want to have a click ball pen. Let's just go to shape subdivide. Give him another subdivide for more precision. Then we give him a scale command, because you want to have a different. I want to go closer to the edge like this. Okay. So we use then intrude, subdivide, and extrude. Another extrude command. So, and we go to the transform scale command, and we scale all and scale it a little bit bigger till it fits the edge. Now to make this top a little bit crisper, first of all we go with the move command, make it a little bit longer, like this. Then we use shape subdivide, and it gets a real round form from there, because now it has an edge here that is giving it a right end. So you see a little bit the design process with SDF, which is very straightforward. So now we have to design the clip. For that we add a new object by add, and we say add object sphere. Where is the sphere now? It is within the ball pen, so I have to move that. So I select one of the faces, go to region, and the whole ball pen has been selected now. Now I'm using the transform move command, and I move it on the blue axis. Blue is that. So here we have the other object now. I can select that as well with select region. I use the move command and I move that a bit up. Let's say there. Yeah. So now the rest of the process is pretty easy. You do just an extrude here, another extrude there, something like this. One more. Okay. And one here. It looks a bit bulky, but that's actually what I've seen that many of the designers don't understand on SDF. You create a bulky base object, and then through the transformation commands, you are more or less modeling the final design out of it. So what we have to do here now is a clip. So, and it's pretty much a scaling task, so I use the region command. I go to transform scale, all. Seems to be all right. Good. And this needs to be a bit up. So we select from there, go to increase. That's why we have done some more intersections than actually necessary. So I have some space to move and select. You will understand later how that works. And now I'm bending actually this a bit up. That's great. This here I move a bit down because it needs to have space that you can put your pocket in there. Yeah, actually I would like to scale the whole thing a bit. The scale command on that, which is blue. Okay. So, and now to make that a bit thinner, just select this faces here, use the move command, and then move that a bit closer. Now we want to give it a special edge, so we see it from the side. I would like to scale that a bit on the green axis Y. And you see that the whole thing takes an interesting shape. Yeah? Good. So this edge we want to have sharpened because it has to be connected to the ball pen. So I go to shape and say subdivide. That's the whole thing here. I go to the region command and select everything. Using the move command and attaching it to the ball pen. Good. That's a hell of a clip. I think some proportions it could be a bit smaller. Like this. And we move that a bit up. Great. So this have been our first steps, and you can see how this thing is working out. Wasn't too much of a hassle to design Ballpen. If you have the Pro features, you can then use the coloring commands. to give it a color. So we can colorize the selected faces. That could be a bit silvery. You want to have a silvering here. Okay. Color selected. And we want to have a black tip. And also this one here. Something like that. So we go to disable show axis. Don't need them. So, and here's our Ballpen design. We go to the gallery, we save it. We keep the button pressed for a while.